Welcome to Service Six Sigma, a live stream for mobile service professionals. Great news, you are here early. Please stand by as our live stream is about to begin. Thank you. Did you know Service Six Sigma has 6 sectors? Here they are: attract, convert, deliver, control, scale, and give back. Would you like to be an influencer for our sponsors? Please reach out to Ben Bergloff, President and Co-founder of Service Six Sigma. We would love to get you signed up. Please don't forget to send us your favorite videos and photos. We will play them live as we wait for our live stream to begin. Thank you.
Hey, it's Harrison from reach@futureclean.com. Before Ben and Perry go online, well, you may know him as Perry, I know him as Dad. While he's being semi-retired, I've decided that Reach is going to sponsor Service Six Sigma because it's another way for Perry to be able to give back to the window cleaning industry and service industries in general. So let's get on with the show.
Catch you before you leave our live stream today. We are in fact live. We are just waiting for our live stream to begin. Please stand by as our live stream is about to begin. We go live at 7 o'clock p.m. Mountain Standard Time every single day, Monday through Friday, except for Saturday and Sunday. That is family time. But thank you for joining our live stream today. Please stand by as our live stream begins and wait and watch our commercials.
We look to the mountains. We don't care if it's only a dream. Nothing is really what it seems anyway. Now little by little, in the twilight's gentle flow, in the dance of fading light we grow. And all the warnings, when you wanna be loved by everyone, you get fooled by anyone so easily. I'm lost. You say it's tired, so am I. But without you, I'm lost. I'm lost. Yeah, we can walk on water while the boats are leaking. Soon the walls will be giving in. Anytime now. Anytime now.
Welcome to a free live stream built around 6 sectors. This live stream created for mobile service professionals. We would like to introduce you to your hosts, Ben Bergloff, President of Service Six Sigma, and Perry Tate, Co-founder of Service Six Sigma. Welcome to Service Six Sigma, your live stream for mobile service professionals.
Boom! And we are live. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. This is good. All right. So today we have a really, really exciting guest, Kevin Dubrosky, the #1 seller author. There he is. But before that, Kevin is here with us. And before that, I'm going to quickly go over the what is Service Six Sigma really, really quickly. Service Six Sigma is broken into 2 parts: the service part and the Six Sigma part. So the service part is it's for the service industry. Any of the service industry, we want to get the carpet cleaners in, the roof washers in, landscapers, electricians, anybody in the service industry, and we want to be able to swap notes. So what's working for you? And the Six Sigma is a business term. It's the elimination of things that go wrong by creating processes and procedures and systems to avoid them in the future, because there's an expect the unexpected in business, but somewhere in there things still go wrong. And so you can see that the airline industry is meant to be a Six Sigma industry, and the nuclear industry is meant to be Six Sigma. Things still go wrong, right? So it goes back to systems and processes. So that's what we're doing. And in order to help us to do that, what we've done is broken your business down into 6 sectors. So the first sector is attract. Yep. So you'll see at the top, and we're going to go around clockwise. Attract. This is when you attract customers, bring them in. So that's your social media, your door hangers, your uniforms, your van wraps, everything like that. Then we want to convert them. So we want the sales process. Then we want to deliver tools, techniques, on-site safety, all that kind of stuff is in the delivery. And then we have control. Control is your admin, your systems and processes, standard operating procedures, all of the things that manage all of those processes so that it can be automated as much as possible, but also as personal as you want. Then having got all that stuff together, everything documented and written down and becomes replicable, then we start to scale the business. You can either add more services or you can scale out with multiple vehicles if you want to. You don't have to, but if you want to, that's where scale fits. And then what Service Six Sigma is all about is asking people who have achieved, an element of success according to their definition of success to give back and come on here as a guest and share your story from the rags to riches through the trauma, all the the dramas of entrepreneurialism, and then that's a give back. On the other side, you go back to one of our sessions, one of the live streams with Poor No More, and you'll see Brian Hoyt from Poor Man Cleaning or Poor Man Window Cleaning, and he gives back to his local community. Okay, so without any further ado, I shall introduce the man, the myth, the legend, the author, famous author for our industry, and definitely a helper of many. Yeah, Mr. Kevin Dubrosky, coming to us live from Portugal in Europe at 1 a.m. in the morning. Welcome, Kevin.
It's great to be here. Great to be here.
It's going to be amazing. I am so excited about, I said to Ben, anyway, I've followed you a lot, and I think that you've done a crazy amount for our industry, and you've just got a new book out, which we're definitely going to feature, because this is at W Profits by Friday, and there's so many elements. I'm definitely going to buy it, by the way, not because I'm in the service industry at the moment, but I'm thinking, because you're a world traveler and I'm a world traveler, but I'm settled now in Phuket, Thailand, and I'm thinking of starting a little window cleaning business, because there are no window cleaners here, so I can start a window cleaning business and not compete with anybody who's our customer, and enjoy it. So I'm also kind of curious. Some of the questions might secretly come from inside me,
Cool.
How to do this. And then you've got Ben on the other side here. Ben has started his business at 16 years old, and he's now turning 24. He's got, fantastic marketing, imagery anyway, so you're going to probably comment on the marketing, but he's definitely built a successful business, and he also does snow removal, and he's got a little Epic, and he's coined Epic as his thing. But we call him Epic Ben, if you want to call him by that.
There you go.
There he is.
He's looking me up.
So he's looking you up.
Yes, sir. I'm ready.
So, Kevin,
Cool.
in the bio about your new book, you focus very much on people, the entrepreneurs that have a heartfelt business. Like they actually are a service provider from inside themselves. That they feel that they're working from their heart as they provide a service. Let's dig into that, because I think that's a great distinction where people can self-qualify, whether they're there,
Yeah, I think you said it beautifully, Perry. So many people in this business truly love the people that they serve, and they have this soulful connection to the way that they're improving and enhancing the life of their customers. So it's really cool to be able to start a conversation about pricing within that context, because so often we have all these weird stories in our head about greed and unfairness and exploitation, when really the secret to be able to extract the maximum profit via pricing comes down to loving your customer. So it's really important, that detail about this only works if you truly do love the people that you serve.
Isn't that an interesting distinction? So how would you define, how would somebody self-identify that they are there, and then this felt that they kind of got into the business for the money, or they've been caught in a trap of chasing the money? Maybe they've been distorted, because you also talk about, the misleading strategies that lead people away from being a heartfelt business. So how do they find that if they've aberrated, let's call it an aberration for the sake of the conversation, if they've aberrated away from being a heartfelt business, how do they find that love, that passion, that heart again?
I actually don't have any advice for a person like that. Because if you feel like your heart has left that, I think that's fine. That's cool. Like, I don't think we need to feel any pressure to be any sort of way. So if we've lost the love of what we do, that's cool. We can move on. We can pivot. We can shift. We can morph. We can grow. But if we do feel that genuine soulful connection, then that's where this stuff can actually help. That's when this can be of value to you.
Well, I have had a very colorful life, and I tell my kids, in particular Harrison, because I'm kind of mentoring him, but I tell him the true stories of where I've truly aberrated. I've truly gone off my moral compass path in my life. And I tell him those true stories to show him that I left the moral compass path, and my moral compass path, we can talk about moral compass paths as well. So I think you might have some experiential stuff on that too. But I feel very strongly that if you feel that you're no longer the person that you really want to be, or you're not behaving as the person you are, you know what I mean? What your actions expose your priorities, and your actions are not who you really think you are, then I think there's a way back. You just start doing and being who you really are. So if somebody lost their passion, then they can find their passion again by being passionate.
Let me just think about that for a second.
That's deep, isn't it? Straight into it, bro. 1 a.m.
Good. I fucking love it. Fucking love it. Yeah, it's an interesting conversation, this philosophical approach to passion. I mean, like you said, I think I used to use that word aberration or aberrated more often in days gone by. Whereas now I think of it more as maybe a reacquainting with our true nature. So yeah, instead of judging, who we or how we have been, I think there's a lot of freedom and self-acceptance and love in embracing who we truly are. And I think, like you said, behaviorally, our own actions reveal our nature. So the more we can live in a way that we don't care who's watching or not watching, I think that's where the real freedom is.
Yes.
I think should is a terrible word, and I lived a lot of my life shoulding myself to death.
Wow. Yes, I agree.
Yeah, but
Shoulda.
no more.
And then woulda, coulda. Did you ever get that one? This was a Tom Hopkins one, right? Shoulda,
Shoulda,
woulda,
woulda, coulda. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? We create so much pain for ourselves. We have all these images and I think even like these opportunities where me and you and Ben sit down and talk for a few minutes on Zoom, I think there's even a danger that we can make other people think there's a should, woulda, a shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Well, let's keep that in mind as we talk together, because
Cool.
we do. It comes up in our live streams, right? Because we do talk very, very honestly with people, and people share very honestly from their life stories, and quite often it comes up. The comparison factor. I'm comparing myself. Like we had Justin on the other day, and he's got a little family, and his priorities are family, health, and financial freedom. And he said he looks at some of his the people that got into the industry at the same time as him. Maybe they were firemen or policemen or army, or I don't know, but they got in at the same sort of time. And then he said some of them have got much bigger businesses than him, and he's not as big as them. But he said, but I've got to let go of this comparison thing, because who you are is not them, and you don't know who they are. Actually, you only know their dollar value, let's say, or the perception of dollar value.
Yeah, and I mean, would you even want to be them? I was talking to the host of this home. We're staying with a couple. My lover and I are staying with a gracious couple in their place here in Porto, in Portugal. And we were just 2 hours ago talking about how there's an older gentleman who goes down to the beach and looks at the ocean every night and makes a smoothie as the sun goes down and drinks it. And they think, looking at that guy, it's like, does it get better than that? Like,
what does he think when he's making his smoothie, do you think?
I don't know. I haven't met that dude. If I do, though, I'll ask him.
That dude. You do. Because you remind me of a story. When I was 34, I had a very dear friend, Rachel Finnis, and she said to me that before the end of every day, she seeks the wizard within and asks and talks to her wizard, which is interesting. Back in those days, the gender wasn't so important, right? but she asked the wizard within, what did I exchange my day for? So she actually goes and looks, reviews every day and says, what did I exchange my day for? And did I exchange it well? Isn't it? Maybe that guy looks at the sunset and just signs off, because sufficient to the day is the evil thereof. I'm sure you've heard that saying somewhere in your life,
Bible,
so closing off the day, and just going, hey, let today be today. It's gone now. Tomorrow's another day. Everything starts again. New imaginations, new hopes, new dreams, new loves,
Yeah, it's so interesting. Philosophical approach to time and life.
Yeah.
Interestingly, I think that's why also this pricing, I know that's why this pricing stuff is so important to me, because the more profit we can extract from our business, we create the option to work less. And I find so many entrepreneurs in the service business, no matter what the service is, no matter what the vertical is, they work their fucking fingers to the bone for decades with the hope that, they're going to retire later. They're going to enjoy life later. They're going to live later. And we discount the value of our younger lives. I don't know why we do that.
No, well, I talk about this too, because I go, I spent 20 years working for the future. I lost a marriage, then I lost another relationship, probably because of that, and people I love dearly, and but I was just in the future thinking, I need $10 million, I need $10 million, or whatever it was, and I gave up the present for the future. But that's part of being young and entrepreneurial, I think. But if we can, as elders, if we can pretend for a second that we're wise men, just for a second, we can pass on some of this, like we've been you and you haven't been us, and we can go into the future and we can, like Back to the Future, we go into the future and we can, put something into your present when you're young that you can take forward and end up at our age better than we are. This is parenting as well. Parenting is trying to do that,
Yeah. It's an honor. It's true. If there is any wisdom, if there is any semblance of wisdom. And I just want to speak to James. James, appreciate your message that popped up a moment ago. Yeah, thank you for that.
Yes, I agree. Yes, he's. It's funny when you go back, because we go back to 10
Oh, hey
plus
man,
years.
just missed you. Yeah, it is funny. Yeah.
All right, let's crack into this the principle of what do you want to talk about, Kevin? Do you want to talk about this? I mean, the pricing is important to you, right? That's your harmonic right now, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like it's the part of our business that we're not really taught how to do it properly, and then when we are taught anything around it, we're given really bad advice, and it ends up having long-term repercussions in our business. So it's a hugely important and amazing opportunity for all of us who are in the service industry. So I would love to talk about pricing, but we can talk about anything else too. I'm down. I'm cool.
Yeah, we'll roll in and out, but let's go. So let's go with some of the myths. Like, what are because if I'm not in the service industry, as you know, I was for a brief amount of time, 2006, 2009. I was a window cleaner, but that was before, online quoting, triplicate of choice, platinum packages, all of the stuff, responsive, like it was before all of that sort of thing. I was kind of like, count the number of panes and multiply by 3 for outside only, and multiply by 5 for inside only. So I've got no idea. I am not, but you probably know what all the myths are, what all the trainings are, and where they miss. But where they don't miss. People make money and everything's fine. But where they miss the chance, what I should say is where they miss the chance for net profit. This is what you're talking about, isn't it? Net profit, money that is yours at the end of the day.
Yeah, actually, I would love to. Do you mind if I push back and challenge you a little bit? Are you down for that?
Sure. Yeah, go.
Yeah, like you just said a few moments ago, you know, people make money and everything's fine. I don't know if that's true. Yeah, they make money and they keep the lights on, but they work way too fucking much and they're not as connected and they add complexity and pain and exhaustion to their lives in the belief that that is the path to create abundance.
Yes,
So
I accept the challenge.
cool. Yeah, cool. So, are you much of a fan of Rumi, the philosopher, the poet?
No, don't know him. I would be if I read him, I'm sure, but I don't know him. Let's
I
go.
actually,
Can you
I
quote
actually
him?
believe you. I believe you have read him, only
Right.
because so many sentences that he's said have become sort of like part of our vernacular. They've become idioms almost. So he was a poet about 800 years ago, Persian dude, a Sufi mystic, and he used to write a lot about love. And he said this beautiful thing once about love. He said, if you want more love, he said, the goal is not to seek for love. It's not that. He said the goal is to seek, find, and then remove any barriers that you've raised up against it. And once those barriers are out of the way, then you can actually, you know, invite an overwhelming amount of love in. And I've come to discover the same principle applies to pricing. You know, the secret to landing your next client for the maximum amount of money is not just trying to get them a high price, but it's actually to seek, find, and remove all those barriers that you've raised up consciously or subconsciously against your ability to do so. So most of my book is actually helping you identify these barriers that you've kind of, you know, created as a problem for yourself that are passed off as best practices and, you know, wisdom and reasonableness and fairness that actually end up, causing all this other stuff like exhaustion and frustration and complexity and time, immense amounts of time that we could be using to do, you know, to spend with the people that we love or with other things that we love instead.
And which is actually life, right? It is
Which is actually life.
life. Yes,
Fucking
actually
life.
getting a chance to live life. So I yes, I can relate to both sides of that because I've worked, as you probably know, I've worked like incredibly hard to build even from a reach point of view, which is also, I think, a service industry. You know, if we serve you well, you buy our tools, you know, but we have to serve you, you know, in some way. And I came out of being a window cleaner, so I already had the mentality of service. And I used to be pastoral. I used to be a youth pastor in a church, so I was always, you know, the pastor. I was Perry the Pied Piper in the church. The kids would always run after me, you know. So I know it's a sort of it's definitely in my DNA, you know. And I think that most of the people that gravitate towards the service industry, they gravitate towards an industry that matches, hopefully, you know, matches who they are on the inside, how they've been configured by God or by chance, whatever people want to believe, you know.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think, you know, going to industry events, most of the guys that we meet are, and women that are running successful service businesses, they like helping people, and service businesses are just a way to help people and make money at the same time. So it's cool when you actually get to a place where you can help people and make a mountain of money and feel amazing and still feel connected to that deep, soulful, even love for the people that you serve. Actually, side note, related to all that, my best friend in the world, I charge full price when I do consulting for him, even to this day. I currently do. And I share some of his stories in my book. and he wants me to charge full price, and I feel amazing charging him full price.
Yeah.
So it's cool. Like you can get to that place where there's no weirdness, no ickiness, no exploitation involved. It's just love, pure love, and service and profit, all kind of mashed up.
Have you, did you ever do Landmark Forum? It was a 3-day program.
I never did Landmark. No, I went to the Tuesday like sales event.
Yeah.
With some
I went to that
well-meaning-
about 4 times over 10 years. And then
I
ultimately I did it.
yeah, I wasn't impressed with what I saw on the Tuesday night,
No,
and
me neither.
everybody tells me Landmark's amazing and Tuesdays are terrible. Do it
Yes.
anyway, but
Yes, I would always
that's
say
kind of
that
like
too.
that's kind of like telling me that the fried chicken is going to be disgusting. You're going to throw up the first time you eat it, but you should order 6 more because it gets better.
No. It's an incredible. It is an incredible program, but I'll give you a little snippet from it, which I think it can be a seed for this part of this conversation. Right. What they say in Landmark Forum is that in the process of becoming a child to becoming an adult, right? There's an evolution, there's steps that are click word, right? So they naturally happen at certain age brackets, and this is child psychology as well, but in their thinking, there are 3 events that happen somewhere as a young toddler, somewhere as an older child, and then somewhere in adolescence, and you're going from being a completely dependent human being on your parents, where they are actually a god to you, and then there's kind of like a codependence as you're growing up and you start to find your independence. I've got a 12-year-old here that I'm looking after, and he's in that stage, right? He loves me. This morning, you want to get up? No, I want a hug, and I go, okay, you want a hug. That's great, So then, but he's realizing that I'm making mistakes, so I'm no longer, I've dropped out of God status. I've dropped out of demigod status. I'm now, significant human to him, but error prone in his mind. I'm better.
Tall guy that plays with him. Yeah.
Hey, say it again.
Tall guy that plays with him.
Yes, that's right. We play a lot, and but the third one is the one where you go, I'm on my own in the world. That's actually your severing of the invisible strings. Of course, the intention is to keep loads of invisible strings so the family stays a close-knit family. But there is a severing where you go, I'm on my own. And in that I'm on my own, there is a declaration that comes up, which is, I'm not lovable, I'm not worthy, I'm not whatever, and that's where I want to leave that as the seed for this, because, maybe in this moment, whatever we decide, like, for example, I'm not worthy, then if that was somebody's one where they were evolving, then when they go to be a service provider and then they go to charge money, and they kind of stop at $100 an hour because, 150, maybe that's what I'm going to ask you. Is part of it that some of the people that get caught in this trap of not being super profitable or as profitable as they could be, is it because they actually have some block inside themselves where they're not worthy of that extra money that they could have?
Interesting. You're asking the question? Is that a thing that happens?
Yeah, that's what I'll do. I'll talk and then ask a question.
It's interesting, Perry, because in my book, I talk about the 11 most common toxic patterns that tend to fuck with us, and in all the ways that we've discussed. And I believe that the most common one actually is the one that you just mentioned. And it's this belief that if we can connect to our own personal sense of worthiness, then we can actually charge more. And I would like to gently suggest, and I make it a strong argument for this in the book, that that's actually incredibly dangerous thinking, because the value of our services has nothing to do with our own personal worthiness.
Right.
Nothing to do with it. And when we buy into this, you know, like you're worth it and you deserve it and all this stuff, we conflate these two concepts, and it can be very, very troubling, very challenging, and we could actually end up hurting ourselves and messing up our ability to objectively evaluate the true extent of our interventions for our clients. And again, I dig into this on a very deep level inside the book. Yeah, especially in the last part. Let me just dig it up really quick. And actually, yeah, I'll show you here on page 358. I actually have an entire poem that speaks to this. Speaks to this
Reminder
trap.
on worth.
Speaks to the trap on worthiness, and it's a reminder about worthiness. Yeah, it's funny stuff. This whole conversation about pricing, it's fascinating. There's all this conditioning that's rammed down our throat, and we tend to believe it's legit and credible and proven and effective and smart and reasonable and all this other nonsense, and it just hurts everybody. It's crazy. And the better we are and the more soulful we are, the more love we have for the people that we serve, it tends to affect us more deeply, which is why I loved writing this book and love the work that I do. Yeah, it's very liberating for my clients.
Tell us about, like, what's your favorite client story? You know, of somebody who came from this place, you know, however you would define this place, and then you know has gone through this. I think it's probably an evolution, but you can have find a different phrase for it. You know, where they've ended up here, and their life now looks like this.
Okay, let me share two quick ones. One is during COVID, it happened. I had a single mother approach me. She is a coach. She's a sex and relationship coach. And she's amazing at what she does. Like, she can help a couple to restore intimacy in their relationship incredibly quickly, which can unlock all of this beauty and connection for both of them. And when she came to me, she was charging $1,000 a month to her clients for a 1-month engagement. And it was 3 conversations. And within that space, she could, you know, affect this transformation. And we did our work together, and I did the thing that I do about pricing and all this mindset and psychology and philosophy behind it, and helped her to implement it. And within 3 weeks, we got her very next client for a 1-month engagement for 3 conversations, might have been 4, for $10,000 US, so 900% more money, like this. So it's not even about like completely reinventing or reimagining what we're bringing to the market. The people that I tend to be able to serve are people that are, the metaphor I like to use the most is people that are selling Rolls Royces, but think that they're selling Toyotas. Like, they're already delivering this exceptional, remarkable, incredible experience to the people that are giving them money. They have allowed themselves to get stuck in all of this nonsense. And I just help them to see through the nonsense. So it really only works for the top 3 to 5% in any service vertical. Another really quick story is actually another coach. And I love this one because he had been a consultant for several years, but he had never had a coaching client. And he had one whale of a coaching client approach him. And he came to me for help. He hired me to help him. And coaching is funny because most coaches, when they enter the industry, they will coach people for like $100 a month, or for $500 a month, or for a pizza, you know, just because they didn't want to get their feet wet. They want to get into it. And I helped that dude within a few weeks of the work that we did to land his very first coaching client for $16,000 a month with no experience ever as a coach, you know. But I helped another mom who was a tattoo artist. increase her pricing 300% like this and get her next 3 clients to pay that fee within 7 days. And there's lots of other examples like that. So yeah, it works for any service vertical if you are actually at the top of your game. But it's really cool to be able to help people achieve those kinds of immediate, incredible results. That's why even the cover of the book, it says this. This is not about some long-term play. This is about your very next transaction.
Right.
You know, when you figure this out, this is about the next one. Yeah, it's pretty cool what can happen when you just start to lean into this area of our business that we tend to not to think about too often.
So if we apply that back and we go, you know, my industry was window cleaning. Ben does, you know, all of the exterior services. You know what I mean? So if we and of course, you know, the intention is when you're an author is that the essence, you know, the full essence is in the book, and the labor is worthy of his hire, the author is worthy of his reward, you know. But how does somebody know that they're in that top 3 to 5%?
Yeah, great question. I use the term world class. You can see that too on the cover. You know how I'll help my world class clients.
Yes.
I dig into it in the first chapter, but I'll tell you right now, the answer is a Venn. So if you imagine 2 circles overlapping, in one circle, imagine it says, you do things that are incredibly hard for your competition to do. And the other circle says, you do things that are incredibly important to your ideal client. So if you can do things that are ultra valuable to the people that you serve and ultra hard for other people to replicate, that's what makes you world class. Yeah.
Okay. I totally relate to that, because that was my whole goal with window cleaning. Window cleaning in Denver, no tools had ever changed, right, for 60 years, right? And I came in and said, I don't have enough money. Like, we started Reach It with $6,000 US, working from an apartment, had no money for beer, you know, like we'd be invited out and we couldn't go, you know, kind of thing. Me and Harrison in Shanghai, China, right? So we're in a country we'd never been to before. We've been there for 3 months, 6 months, something. And then I actually went to China to sell solar thermal systems, 5-star hotels, hospitals, all that kind of thing, right? A company called ecotherm.com, an Austrian company, and I worked for them. And then my Chinese partner wouldn't pay me my commission when we got this first sale on this hospital up in Shandong province. And so I said to Harrison, we're not going back losers, you know. And we didn't have enough money to service the homeowner industry, or part of the industry. We didn't have enough money for the janitorial. I said, what we'll do is we'll get into the top of it, the professionals, and we will work until we've mastered the perfect professional product. And then later, once that's mastered, we can filter down into the janitorial market. So because we haven't got enough money, we've got enough money to buy 10 poles, you know, kind of thing back then, you know. Mm-hmm. So, and then that's our little journey, but we definitely honed in, and we've continued on the process, which took way longer and way more hours than I planned. But it's I think that's that desire. So therefore, the selection of your customer is also incredibly important, because in this Venn diagram, that ideal customer is critical, that you can define that.
Yeah, I mean, because we all like different things, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like who has the best coffee? You know, like, what's the best car? What's the best place to get pizza? Like, the answer to all those questions is, well, it kind of depends what you're looking for. Like, if you want fresh ingredients, there is a place in town that has the freshest ingredients. If you want the quickest delivery, there's a place in town that has the quickest delivery. If you want a place that has the most amazing crust, well, there's a different place that has the most amazing crust. So it's figuring out, okay, cool, what's the thing that I can bring to the market that people seem to want, you know? Maybe it's, yeah. So anyway, but that's a big part of the process of the work that I do with my clients, is to help them just
nice.
Of course.
But it can't be so bespoke that you deliver this speciality to this person and that speciality to that person, can it? Like, you still got to have some sort of formula that's congruent with your internal self, right? So I imagine it's got to be sourced somewhere from inside yourself as an inspiration and a sense of congruency and alignment and synchronicity, you know, and then it's those within that range of things. So it must be those customers that are in that realm, which is, you know, AB. It's got to be AB demographic, isn't it? Like, I'm leading. I suppose what I'm leading to, by the way, is I'm leading into, you know, how to recession-proof your business as well, because there's a recession coming, and I see what you're sharing and teaching. If people can embrace it, they can actually, you know, in the next short amount of time, actually create a greater insurance for themselves and their families and their dreams, you know, by having the right clients that are not going to be affected, and the right service that nobody can knock you out of that client. That client won't change to a cheaper, I need a cheaper window cleaner, you know, or I need a cheaper exterior services guy, or I need a cheaper carpet cleaner, or whatever.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, the more unique value we can deliver that is relevant to the desires of our target market, then yeah, the more we're protected from the ebbs and flows of economic stuff. And to answer your question, it can be as simple as looking through your customer list and saying, okay, well, who's giving me the most money? Who do I make the most profit from already? And who do I love working with? And use those as filters, and you'll come up with a segment. And you basically start to really study those people and ask yourself, like, why did these people hire me in the first place? You know, why do they give me money? Why do they keep using me when Joe, the window cleaner, you know, barrages them with postcards every 2 days? Why do they keep, you know, and like there's a zillion other dudes in town that also wash windows or cut lawns or do electrical or whatever. You know, and really, you kind of have to understand your client better than they do, or at least articulate their needs better than they ever have. But that is the answer. That's where that becomes the seed of differentiation for you, and focus and obsession in terms of the value proposition.
So, and then if you wanted to replicate that, where you wanted other customers like that, would you then, like, because I love that you said you need to know them almost better than they know themselves, which is kind of like you need to be able to articulate, you know, who the definition of them as a customer, not them as a husband or them as a father or them as an executive, but them as a customer. And then to find other people like them, would you go as far as knowing, like, where do they find other people like them? Because people like people who are most like them, right? We know that one. So, you know, would you then, you know, look where they socialize, and then look to socialize, you know, do they go to the theater, or do they go to the BMX track, or, you know what I mean? Like, you know, do you then look for other people like them where they go? Is that?
I think that's a smart move, you know, to kind of make a list of all those things and start dabbling, throwing a little bit of money at those things from a marketing or advertising perspective, and see what converts. Like, one of the 6 Sigma pillars is convert, right?
Yeah.
So play with it and figure out. Yeah, because you might find really weird places that all those people live. Maybe it's a country club. Maybe it's, you know, one neighborhood. Maybe it's joining one charity gala 1 year, and you get 70 customers
and
from it.
They're all like-minded people.
Yeah.
You know, not in fact, I'm going to use your own words. You feel good being paid by your best friend in the world full price for what you do for him. It's more blessed to give than to receive. Tie those two together and say these people feel good giving you good money for the service you provide. You know, they don't feel bad that you're providing a service, that you're making a great money. They might feel good that they're helping you from their muchness. They are able to, and they like you, so that they're able to support and you and what in a fair exchange, and then you then have a better life. You know, like they have a blessing in that. You know, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, and if you come through on your part of the deal, then your fee is like you said, a bargain, is a deal of the century for them, and they can only get it from you. So the more unique value that you offer, that is solving real problems that keep them up at night and that piss them off, and that they want to go away, and they're in the way of everything that they desire, then yeah, they're grateful. They're so happy to pay your fees, and they don't even care how much money you're making. What they're focused on is what they're getting.
Yes.
You know, like,
I think that's a very distinct point, is that too often this comparison thing comes up, and we look at what the other person's getting, and that's a bad frame. You know, look at what the other person's getting. You know, because it never works, right? And people who have got wealth, people who have got a more completed evolution, right? To being comfortable in themselves. You know, they are not all. You might think they're looking at what I'm getting and going, "Oh my God, I can't have high prices for that." You know, but they're not looking at that, are they? They're looking. People are self-oriented. We're on a monorail. This is our life. There's only one person in the life. No matter how many people I build around me, lovers and children and partners and parents and everything, there's only one person in my life. Right? And so they are still looking for how is it affecting them? You know, what you're doing for me.
Yeah. I saw Harrison recently say the same thing. What's in it for me? You know, you have to ask yourself, the people that you want to serve and that you love the most, and that you just, man, it's such a joy to be able to do what you do to help them. The more we can obsess over, you know, what is in it for them when they give us money, the more profits will come our way, and we get to keep doing so from a place of love and peace and authenticity. It's really beautiful. Yeah.
I'm going to dig into this one. When I was in a particular church, I had a pastor, and the pastor at this moment just changed my whole life on this. The pastor was obviously a very giving guy, like a good pastor. He was a great pastor, a heart for the people, absolutely do anything for anybody, right? And this, it was his birthday. And so somebody made him a cake for his birthday. It happened to be the birthday of somebody else in the church. And he took the cake that she gave to him and gave it to the other person. And I saw his humanness, his weakness in that moment, because he was so committed to being a giver that he was unable to receive, you know, and just show this incredible appreciation that somebody had made all this effort for him. And it was almost in an instant, you know, he really was unable to appreciate that somebody had given to him. He's the giver, you know, and that's where, so you heard me say it's more blessed to give than to receive. Then sometimes, you know, if you don't let people give to you, you are removing their blessing. You know, you block blessing because if somebody wants to support you, somebody wants to, you do an amazing job for somebody and they want to give you a great big tip, or they want to pay you a great big price, or I'm exaggerating, great big price. That's unfair. The fair price, the equitable exchange,
which might be big, which might be very
you it
big.
Seems high. Yeah, it could be thousands or 10,000 or whatever. Yeah. But if you block that, you're actually blocking the flow, aren't you? You're blocking because money should flow. That we know money should flow like water. So you're blocking the flow. And I'm talking to myself at the same time while I'm saying this.
We're happy to eavesdrop on you as you figure this stuff out. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah, so nature seems to work that way, doesn't it, Perry? I mean, the trees breathe in what we breathe out. And if we stop breathing out, the trees die.
Do you know what percentage of the atmosphere is carbon dioxide?
Isn't it like less than 1% or something?
0.04%.
Yeah.
So the climate change CO2 stuff is actually a mess.
Funny.
Carbon credits. But the metaphor is good.
The metaphor is good.
In fact, it's completely accurate. Ben, we've got a landscaping guy coming on soon, I hope. But I used to sell landscaping franchises. Right? I've sold 250 franchises in home cleaning and landscaping, and or land care. What we call lawn mowing. But what my the founder of VIP Home Services, Bill Viss, said, he studied way back. I'm talking 20 years ago. That if you cut your grass to the yellow, right, then you stop you reduce the photosynthesis, and you reduce and it gets hotter, right? If you leave, if you train the grass, even if you're going to cut low, but you train the grass to cut low, the quick of the grass, the yellow of the grass will go lower, and the green will start earlier, and that green absorbs more light, so you get less heat around the house, and it creates more photosynthesis, which creates more carbon dioxide for us, more a fairer exchange. So it's not just trees breathe what we breathe out and they breathe in, but grass also, is like this. I found that fascinating,
Yeah, it isn't
little old grass.
Little old grass.
They're breathing what we're breathing. They're breathing in what we're breathing out. Yeah, very good. So, if I wonder, because you've talked about coaches, and I can see coaches, but from a mobile contractor, Service Six Sigma perspective, what insight would you? Because I know you've worked with our industry like crazy, and what insight? Where would we start if we said, this book applies to you, all of your books apply to us in our industry, but where do we start to create where's the seed of curiosity which they can then work towards a conviction to say I'm gonna read Kevin Dubrosky?
Cool. I think this is a great example of how the messaging kind of looks after itself. So my book can only help somebody if the owner has a soulful connection to the work that they do, and if they are world class at what they do, and of course if they want more money and freedom. So if somebody watching this, if you believe you're in the top 3 to 5% in your local market, in your serviceable market, with what it is that you sell, and you truly do love the people that you serve, it's not just a transaction thing. You're not doing it because it's a way to make money, because you can eventually do what you actually care about, then this book is worth a look. Definitely. At least check out the Amazon listing and read the description. That'll give you a bit more. Yeah. And if it speaks to you, get one. If it doesn't, that's cool. Don't. It's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I read that. There were just parts of it that were just really striking to me, and I thought, there's a spiritual side to it. I was just having a little look at it just then. There's a spiritual side to it. So let me ask you this then. If somebody has got to the point where they've scaled, right, and they've scaled to 10 trucks.
They scaled to what? Sorry, 10 trucks?
Let's
Okay.
say they've got 10 trucks,
Yeah.
So they're now at the point where they scale themselves out of the contact with the people they serve, out of the direct contact with the customer. Does that, for this book, I'm sure, the other books might apply to their business, and they've obviously already got, some things working for them, but they might still be working like crazy hard. Yeah. Whale vomit method. Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks,
So
Chris. Appreciate that, dude.
they might be working crazy hard still. So does this apply to them as well? If they're no longer actually seeing so many of their customers?
Oh yeah, for sure. Because although they have 10 trucks and whatever, 20 guys, 30 guys, they have reviews, and they have the ability to get inside their customers' heads and figure out, like, what is it about the people that they're serving that keeps them coming back, and that keeps them loyal despite competitive forces. Assuming that they really do love their customers, even though they're not personally servicing them, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, very possible.
So,
Absolutely. You don't have to have face-to-face contact to personally, you don't have to personally speak to them. You can rely on your team to collect that data and use it.
yeah, we interviewed JC and Angela. Angela has a business called Unique Genius, which I found a delightful two-word definition of the ultimate place to be. This unique genius. My saying is that your genius state is hidden in your eccentricity. Yeah, you be as eccentrically yourself as you possibly can, and you will find what it is that's your genius, right?
And that's where it is. Yeah, that makes sense. Sounds
yeah.
good.
So how? If this, I want to try and pick a gem. I want to, put my hand into the bucket, with my lucky dip, and try and pull out a little gem out of this conversation for our industry. Something which is an example of this. Let's call it a unique genius attribute to a business that gave somebody this competitive advantage. I don't know if it's a competitive advantage, the sole advantage, this advantage that you're talking about, which says, these are the kind of things that you could do for your customers that you may not even think that you can do for your customers, such that those customers would find you as their lifetime service provider for whatever you do, something like that.
Okay, so you're looking for an example of how this might work for a window cleaning company, kind of?
Yeah, or exterior service. You could go across the gambit of
exterior
services.
Industry. Yeah, so for example, do you mind if we use Ben's company?
Let's go. I love it.
Let's dive into Ben. So Ben is not my client.
Benji.
Ben, you're not my client. We only met on this call. Do you mind if I speak to some of the things on the website?
Absolutely. I'm here to learn and grow.
Okay, cool. So on the homepage of epicexteriorservices.com, you have a headline, "Why Choose Epic Exterior Services?" So you're basically inviting them to say, here's what makes us really cool and unique in the market.
Mm-hmm.
And you say it's our Epic guarantee, it's our fast quote, and it's our easy scheduling, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you this. Is it common to have an Epic guarantee in the exterior services world?
You bring up a good point.
Pretty fucking common,
not
right?
necessary. Yeah.
Pretty fucking common. So let's look at the next one. Fast quote. If you live in Boise, Idaho, or the surrounding areas, obtaining a free quote for your window cleaning, gutter cleaning, pressure washing, or Christmas light service couldn't be simpler. Call or click now to obtain your free, speedy, no obligation estimate. Now, I imagine you put this here because in your experience, the people that you do business with, that give you the most money, they don't want to fuck around waiting forever to get a quote. They want a quote now so they can make a decision. Yes?
Yes.
Right. So it's
Time
one
is
thing to
money.
say, what's that? On the money. Okay. So it's one
Yep.
thing to say fast quote. It's something else to say home of Boise's only 12 hours or free quote guarantee.
Mm.
Or get a price today or your next service is free. Or, we'll pick up in 3 rings or else we'll give you $1,000. And you hire some team in Vietnam or Philippines to actually do the 24-hour thing for like $30 a month.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like now you're like, okay, this is actually Ben, this company actually is leaning into this thing that I really want.
Yeah.
Same with easy scheduling. Like it's one thing to say quick, dependable, and courteous at a time that's convenient for you, but you have an opportunity with that one as well to kind of obsess over it and really deliver something to the market that satisfies those needs in a way that almost scares your competition. Like, how can he do this and not close up shop? Like, that's where the edges are. So Ben has done a good job of identifying these are 3 things that my market needs. And if you like double down, triple down, quadruple down on them, that's when the magic happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like Rolls
And I've
Royce,
also
right?
noticed.
What's that? Sorry?
No, go ahead. Sorry. Well, I was just going to say that I've noticed from other of our clients that call us, they always will most clients will actually mention that, oh, wow, you're on top of your phones. It doesn't go straight to voicemail. So when it comes to easy scheduling, easy, fast quotes, we're always on the phone. Like we're not missing a phone call, and the customers will say, oh, wow, you picked up.
So Ben, you just actually proved to me what I do with my clients because you're already doing the fucking thing. It wouldn't be hard for you to actually just wrap some language around the thing you're already doing and just to own it, right? And be like, and this is kind of like the secret of what I do. I'm already taking people that are doing amazing things. They just don't communicate the amazing thing. And they're not doubling down in an obvious way. And I was just going to say Rolls-Royce, is horribly unreliable car, terrible on gas, very fucking big. I was just driving in London, England 2 days ago. You can't drive a Rolls-Royce around London. That's terrible. It's useless, that stupid car over there. But it's luxurious. It's the most luxurious car, probably most people would agree, that one can buy. And because they realize that people that are going to drop, $500,000, $700K on a car want luxury, they go bananas with it. Like they hand stitch stupid little details that you will never see that are under your seat that connect to pieces of carpet. Like they just obsess over everything that could possibly be confused with luxury. So that you and I are like, we nod when we're like, oh yeah, Rolls-Royce luxury. We don't think Rolls-Royce safety. We don't think reliable. We don't think, efficient. We think luxury. So same with Epic. You can make Epic a thing so that it's Epic these 3 things, and you're crazy obsessed with these 3 things, and everything else just kind of happens. It can just be
falls
good
in place.
Good enough.
Yeah.
It can be good enough. You could even have like slightly dirty trucks, and your guys might not wear booties, and maybe you've even missed some windows. People won't care if these are the 3 things that actually matter. That's what's funny about it. Just like Rolls-Royce, they don't care that they're bad at the other stuff. They're like, yeah, whatever. Like we do what we do, and you guys can do what you do. Yeah. Does that answer your question, Perry?
Yes, sir.
Cool. I thank you for letting me pick on you, Ben. Yeah,
No, definitely.
I appreciate it. And you already have it. You have all this stuff here. I will say guarantees were a thing that didn't really exist like 15 years ago. Perry, you probably remember back then, 12, 15.
Yeah.
But these days they're kind of boring, you know.
Time a dozen. Yeah.
So you have to find a way to make it crazy. You have to and it has to be strategic and applying to a specific part of the promise, the unique value proposition. Yeah.
I love, because my brain's going at 100 miles an hour behind the scenes, but this simple principle that it just confuses your competitors. Like, how the hell does he do that? I mean, that kind of creates a distinction that I think everybody can grasp, and say, now, okay, so now the next step is, I know what to do, and now I start to get the fear and the trepidation. Can I do it? Right? So now it becomes a battle between me and myself. Like, Ben, if you go 3 rings or $1,000, you're gonna.
Well, let's actually ask Ben. Is that scary, Ben, or are you like, I could figure that out? That sounds kind of cool, actually. I wouldn't be afraid of that.
The three rings of what?
Or $1,000, or you lose $1,000.
I don't
Could
answer
you
my
figure out
phone
a way
in
to
3
implement
rings. I'll give you $1,000.
Oh, 3 rings. Oh, phone calls.
Yeah.
At that point, I would probably be a little bit scared and want some sort of what's it called? Redundant.
Exactly.
In case if I don't answer the phone call, redundancy.
You would build it though, right? You could figure it out and you'd make it happen.
Oh, I'm sure.
And then you'd be fine, because it would work.
Make sure that the phone call comes to me, and then it will domino effect down the line.
Well, then,
Amazing.
but it's going to ring with you for 3 rings, and then you're going to push it off.
For sure.
You could. I mean, I don't know, Kevin. If I said
3 rings,
right? Yeah.
Oh yeah. There's no way I could do it.
Well, you could. Not you personally. Not you personally.
I don't even know if a competitor could do it. They would have to have
easy.
an answering service.
Exactly.
50 people ready on the phone.
In the Philippines.
Boom.
In the Philippines.
Well, okay, so I come from a little bit of IT background.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I hate, and I'm sorry to say this, but I really want to speak to an American person.
Mm-hmm. I'm just saying that there would be a way to make that 3 rings or $1,000 back guarantee work. That's all I'm saying.
I guess.
Like,
I think that I should try it. I should honestly try it and get back to you about
Hey, Kevin. So my brain is trying to find a compromise, right? So what if you said 3 rings or $100 credit?
Boring. Fucking boring.
So is it? Oh God! Because I thought, well, then they'd want to. If it rang 4 times, they'd want to use their $100 credit, and then you got a customer.
No. It's kind of
What
like.
about this?
Well,
what about this? Could you
okay.
3 rings in your free service? Is that, or is it still the $1,000?
Yeah, you could do 3 rings are free. We'll answer in 3 rings
service?
are free. Like Domino's Pizza did that, right? They came out of nowhere and built a multi-billion-dollar company just by saying it's free if we don't get it to you in 30 days. They never talked about whether or not it was good. They never talked about whether it tasted good. They didn't, because they knew, there's a part of the market that just wants the fucking pizza now. It has to be good enough and just fast.
The kids are hungry.
They didn't say 30 minutes or a credit. They said 30 minutes or free. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it has to be, you have to have the balls to kind of go all in. But again,
it's balls.
But you're already there. This is what's amazing about it. If you're at the top 3 to 5%,
you're
already right there anyway. So you just have to kind of own it and double down, triple down. But it's not scary because you're already there. So it's not a far leap. It's not a crazy leap. It's more of a mind shift than anything else. Yeah, which is cool. And that's why it happens like this. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Dude. It's
great. I'll give you a real life example. Like I have a client right now in Australia, an exterior cleaning company. We started working together middle of December. So 3 months ago, is that? Yeah. 3 months ago.
Yeah. It could be that long. Yeah.
And, when they hired me, they were already 3 or 4 times more expensive than the next competitor. And they're clipping along at about a 30% profit margin. And they've just started to implement some of the work that we've done together, and they just had their biggest month ever. And they said their pricing has already increased 30% since we started working together. So what that means is that they have effectively doubled their profits without changing anything else about their services. Yeah.
Okay, so let's dig down on them. I'm not. I like this maths, the business maths. Double your profit is not double your price, is it? It's
that's
double
right.
your profit, right?
Profit.
So you've got to understand what is your profit. You know, what is your take home? You know, from all of these things that happen, and then for some businesses like commercial corporations or whatever, it can be as low as 6%. You know, a big corporation.
Yeah.
You know, so they would only need to get another 6%, and they've doubled their profit. Yeah,
that's right.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, so that's becoming less scary now, isn't it, Ben?
A little bit.
You know, and Ben, if you were, I mean, I don't think it's anybody's business. So, but I mean, if you were to think about the amount of profit you have in your business, let's say in the past 12 months, you know the number, you know what the margin is.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly how much your prices would have to go up to double your profit for this coming year, which would go directly into your wallet, pre-tax, of course, but directly into your pocket. And most people that have service businesses, to get that much profit without mastering pricing, they would have to add crews and infrastructure and dozens or hundreds or thousands of new customers and all kinds of nonsense to be able to capture that, right? And this is like, fuck all that. Like, this is so much simpler. Like, actually figure out your pricing once and for all, and maybe you can get rid of some of your crews and you can fire your annoying customers and just make this lean, mean, profit churning machine. It becomes an option anyway if you want to explore it. Yeah.
With that, you were talking about like dissolving some of your clientele that's maybe just the cheaper end, the clients that you don't want because they're just not worth as much. Could you advertise and structure a business where you're just doing the wealthier parts of, let's say for me it's Eagle, Idaho. So there's a lot of multi-million-dollar homes. Would you try to go towards those and try to double your profit that way instead of growing your whole business as far as multi-truck?
I mean, it's up to you, Ben. I will say that sometimes we get seduced by the really big houses, but if we do the math, we actually make just as much money on the small stuff, you know, on an hourly basis. Fundamentally, that's what it comes down to, right? Hourly rate for the guys.
And for being efficient too.
If you're being efficient, you know, you might get some big $5,000 job, but maybe it'll take 2.5 days. And whereas your crews, you could make 3,000 a day with the crews doing the little stuff. So it's like, fuck the big stuff.
That's a good point.
Why am I wasting time? Who cares if it's big and fancy? It looks nice on the website. You know, what is nice about like what Perry said about knowing the numbers is that it helps us to kind of cut through the emotion and really connect with where the money is waiting for us just to capture. But it's not just about where the money is. It's also doing business with people that we love.
Mm-hmm.
So you also filter your client list that way. Who do I, man, who are the 30 people that if I lost any of them, I actually would like, oh, that sucks, because they're so great, you know, because they're a pleasure to deal with. They pay on time. They pay a lot. They refer you to people. You know, you wish you had 1,000 more of them. You know, like those are the people you really want to obsess over and figure out. And whoever comes along for the ride and pays your prices besides them, cool. But those are the people that you really want to serve.
So are you going to have an audiobook for this book?
Negative.
Your profits?
Negative.
You'll not have an audiobook. Sorry, Sean.
Sorry, Sean, you got to take notes in the column.
That's right.
They
Highlighters.
actually have.
Right? You
They
gotta own
actually
it.
have. Yeah, they actually. Oh, I guess you don't have a digital book of your. You just
There is
have
a
a paper
digital
copy,
version
do you?
available. There is a digital
Oh, is
version. You
there?
can
Okay.
people can email me directly if they want to get their hands on that. It's the same price as the print book, but if they want one, we can figure it out. Yeah.
Okay.
Kevin,
Cool.
let's talk about the price. Like we sell, we do Reach It. Reach It's expensive, and but we make, everything we make in Reach It, we make with sustainability. It's environmentally like sound because you can replace all the parts. You never have to buy another brush. You buy one, and you can just, if you're good with your thumbs and fingers, you can basically every couple of years you could recreate it for a quarter of the price of a new one. But the real thing which a brush does is gives us an increased speed. They've got to change their technique and they use it to the faster speed, and then they get a higher alley rate. And so the return on investment is rapid. So it's a 300. Let's say you get a $350 brush, you can go from what was $100 an hour to $450 an hour. The brush paid it for itself in an hour. So then you can use this saying, right, which is true. Like, it's not how much the brush costs; it's how much it's costing you to not have the brush. And when Ben and I saw the price of your book, we go, wow, that's a lot for a book. And then we started talking, and we go, well, actually, like if it works, it's nothing. Like return on investment is like in minutes for your book.
Yeah, man.
Minutes.
Like there's a conversation. Hold on, let me see what chapter it is. Chapter 5, right here. The name of chapter 5 is How to Get Paid $8,000 a Day to Drink Bourbon and Smoke Cigars in a Lawn Chair. And what that chapter is a verbatim conversation with a private client of mine. That's actually my best friend, that conversation. And we spoke on the phone for 8 minutes. And he made an extra $4,000 on that day of work at that job with an 8-minute conversation. So you're right. Like it can be minutes that this stuff can help you. If you're willing to apply it and if you're ready for it. Yeah.
Why is the book so cheap?
You said so cheap?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking the book's really cheap.
It is fucking cheap. They're right. It's
it's underpriced.
Because I want you to get it on your next transaction.
Yep.
And for the perfect buyer of this book, the perfect avatar, if you will, they will earn on average about $1,200 more money on their next transaction, which and 1/10 of 1,200 is the price of the book. Yeah. So that's how I came up with the price of the book. Yeah. So
how much is the book?
117.
117. There you go. 117 US dollars. So about $200, Chris. For Chris. Chris is down in Australia.
Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah.
And it comes with with a 10 times ROI, 1,000% money back guarantee, 1,000% ROI. Do the book, complete the exercises, apply what you learn. If it doesn't get you at least 1,000% return on investment, then show me that drop me an email, prove to me that you did it, and I'll give you your money back.
Yeah.
But you have to prove that you did it. I'm not gonna.
Of course. Yeah.
I'm not gonna enable you to be small. So I'm gonna make you.
How does somebody prove that the phone wasn't answered in 3 rings?
I guess they could record it.
Yeah, because that would be like, I know that what you're playing with there is they have to prove what they're doing. Well, on Ben's $1,000 bag, they could just say that was 4 rings, but it was actually 3.
Let me put it this way: if Ben at Epic invoked we'll answer the call within 3 rings, otherwise we'll do your next service free.
Yeah, that's better.
I would probably, or whatever, or I'll give you $1,000. Either way,
Yeah.
if I was a competitor of Ben, I would probably hire 2 people only to call Ben's number like all day,
Right.
every day for 2 weeks to see it and record every
Okay.
moment of every call.
We get that. We get
Yeah.
we had some $0 products in our store, like all our virtual pricing guide, and we have a don't get electrocuted, basically an SOP and a training manual for on worker safety for poles and window cleaning poles and power lines. And we've got another one, the how to clean windows faster. We have all $0 books. And then last month we're getting like 10 orders a day in our store, for all our $0 products for all these, .ru email addresses. So somebody's paid some company in Russia to go into our store and just keep buying and filling up our store with orders that are $0. Then we change it to $1, and now we're still asking Shopify to try and work it out. But how do they block all these ones? But so now we're getting abandoned carts at $1. So they're still trying to make it difficult for us to see what's just the back end. The reports and everything is full of crap.
Yeah,
but that's good. That's competitors will do. Competitors will do mafia type things. I don't.
Yeah,
care.
and I mean, it's funny. I think. Yeah, I read this. There's a guy named Ryan Holiday that now has reinvented himself as a philosopher and likes to think that he's a stoic and all that stuff. But he used to be a marketing guy. He wrote a book called "Trust Me, I'm Lying," and he used to do the marketing for American Apparel. And he used to, approve and design huge billboards, and then he would go out at 2 a.m. and deface them with like spray paint and stuff, to create controversy. So that might be there's fun things you can do too if you want to like really push some edges.
If you want to go black, I mean, I prefer it. So.
You want to go dark. That's right.
I'm just a dad. I don't want to get into that shit.
That's funny.
Well, it's if you'd be up for it, Kevin, a month away or 2 months away, I'd love to have you back. I think it's an amazing conversation, and I think that there's an amazing there's a transfer of belief. Sales is a transfer of belief. Communication is a transfer of belief, and I think that being able to talk candidly and philosophically, deep and shallow, material and immaterial, tangible and intangible. That there's a way for everybody, depending on who they are, how they're configured. There's a way for everybody to pick up from these kind of conversations something that they can, take away and start working with. And of course, we want you to be rewarded, for your work. The laborer is worthy of his hire. The author is worthy of their reward. People, the intention is not to, suck out bits of your book, kind of thing and put them on here. That's far from what, and I think we've shown that today. But oh God, look at these. These are all your books, yeah.
Some of them, yeah. Some of the books.
Oh, okay, some of them, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So. If you're interested, if you've enjoyed it, then I would certainly invite you back, and then we can set a date that works better for your time zone, because it's now 2:30 in the morning for you.
That would be nice, except I don't know where I'm going to be, so who knows?
No, but we just make it a day that when it works, sometime in the future. But I've really enjoyed it, and I think that we can really help people, gravitate towards what you're. But I think it's a process, it's not just like, the people watching this from, will say, okay, I'll go and buy that book. But sometimes, the persuasion takes time, and it takes repetition and conviction and knowing the author rather than knowing the book, I think, and realizing, how you're configured, and where you're writing from, I think could be really advantageous for everybody, because the people who can implement what you're saying are going to win. So there's 100% a win-win-win here, everywhere.
Yeah, and it is one of those things, Perry and Ben, where it's too hard to believe. It's like, come on, as if you can charge that much money for window cleaning, for pressure washing. No. Yeah. But it will take the first client to say yes for you to go, oh my God, I'm an idiot. Like, this whole time I could have been capturing all of this value and enjoying all of the downstream effects and helping all the people that I care about and creating freedom and abundance and all of this stuff and firing the annoying ones and hiring better people. But you have to kind of do it. There's a leap, right? So it is one of those things where you have to kind of take the leap first. But yeah, if you're the top, yeah.
I'm going to hone in on this just really quickly. When you say world class, one of your best stories or the two stories that you chose was somebody who's never done it before. So you can't kind of claim world class. And I've been thinking about that while you've been talking since then. And then people say, okay, well, if you deliver a world class, but actually I'm going to argue with that now. I'm going to say, well, look, you get somebody who's not world class, who listens and reads and understands and gets what you're saying. Let's say they're the $60 an hour guy. The $60 an hour guy, which is pretty typical for window cleaning when I started in this industry before we introduced speed, right? That $60 an hour guy, his net profit, he might be living on 40 grand a year, $800 a week, $20 an hour might be what he's taking home, right? Now, you're double his profits, but that little $60 an hour, not even world class guy, is going from $60 an hour to $80 an hour. Let's say, like simple math, right? He's going to put another $20 on top of his $20 that he takes home and feeds his family and gives them their education and buys the house and runs the car. Like, it's got more scope than this 2 to 3% at the top, 3 to 5% at the top, I think.
Yeah,
am I right?
It's huge. Yeah, it's huge. And by the way, that's just double. Like, that's why the bottom of the book says this is not just about doubling. This is how I help my clients to double, triple, and 10 times. And this is assuming that the guy in your scenario was world class at what he does, by the way. So that's an important detail too, right? He's not just a guy with a squeegee and a bucket and a car. Like, he actually is delivering unique value, unique relevant value.
But do you know, we had this guy on called Brian Hoyt, whose business name is Poor Man Window Cleaning, who's now an amazing giver to his community, an amazing giver. He feeds loads of people and everybody knows him, right? But he was poor. He started with squirt bottle and paper towels. He started window cleaning like that with a broken shoulder and a neck brace because he'd had an accident, right? So, but his unique thing is that he gives back, doesn't it? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
The whole of Boise knows Poor Man Window Cleaning gives back to the community. So he's got an edge that, I mean, people could look after him. Maybe people hire him because they vicariously give back to the community because they don't want to feed poor people, but they give him their business and he feeds the poor people. I don't know, but he's definitely got an edge.
I would love to speak to that, actually. That's a great example of how it's going to speak to some people and other people are going to be like, who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares about my window cleaner giving back? Do not care. I want to know, what am I going to get?
Yeah.
So it really comes down to that. No matter what it is that we buy, we're looking for the thing that solves the specific problem that we want from the product or service from that vertical, from that industry. And it's not going to appeal to everybody, which is fine. We only need it. And the nice thing about these service businesses is they're boutique businesses. You don't need 50,000 customers.
No.
You can create an amazing life with a few hundred if you have one-man show. Especially if you lock down pricing, man, I know guys that work like a few months a year and live like kings.
Yeah.
You guys do you know them too? Or if you want to build crews and have 10 trucks, that's fine too. Like, but you don't need 50,000 customers. It's only a few thousand, you know, to keep everything humming. So yeah, that's what's nice. You don't need to make everybody happy. You just have to speak to
So,
the
Kevin,
needs. Yeah.
where did you get all this super useful information, and how did you write your book? Did you
Which
come
question do you
from
want
a
me to
service
answer?
industry? Well, did you come from a service industry background? Did you own a business? I'm just curious.
Yeah. So Perry knows the answer to this question. I used to have a window cleaning company for a decade.
No way.
And that's when I started to learn about this pricing psychology stuff. Around 2006, 2007, I started to really get serious about it. And I tell the story in my book. I answer that question. But the bottom line is that since 1999, and I'm 50, so since I was 25 years old, I've worked an average of 2.5 days a week because I value time very highly. And the last 3 years, I've averaged about 5 to 10 hours a week on average that I've worked. Yeah. So from the beginning in the service industry, you know, I was looking for ways to increase profits. And in my book, I also talk about some vices that I had and some other complex challenges that I was facing that needed money. And the best way to fund a vice and to generate money, if you don't want to work more, is to master pricing. So I'm not going to give it away, but there's some very specific details about those things that kind of unlock this obsession with pricing and turned me into a pricing monster, if you will.
Well, you got me hooked. I'm ready to buy the book.
Okay. Yeah, do it. Congratulations if you've already bought it in the next 10 seconds.
I'm going to buy it too. I'm going to buy it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, man. And
hopefully they'll deliver to Thailand. I think they would, right? Amazon?
Yeah, I mean, there's also a digital one. If you want to do it that way, you can send me an email and I'll send you a straight.
I'm old school, bro.
Okay, so get the book.
Can I buy it directly from you, from your website or anything? And then you can post it to me.
You mean oh, no, I don't have any.
No, you're in Portugal. I'm an idiot. I'm an idiot. I'll shut up. Don't worry. See, that's where my son catches me and goes, see, you haven't got your shit together, right? You just, like, you have not got it together. You're an idiot.
But actually, you know, this would be good. This would be good because when you buy one and then we reconnect in a month or so, we can talk about what you read in the book.
Nice. Cool. All right, let's do that. Let's do that. We will do that. It's 9:30, bro. If you want to stay on and have a short chat afterwards, but if you want to go to bed, that's also fine. I
think I'm going to go. It's 2.
Okay, you go. I'll talk to you. We'll talk to you in Messenger. It's 2:30, bro. You need to go to sleep, and we will talk again. And thank you very much. And peace out. Love your style, man.
Pleasure, boys. Been a
Thank
pleasure.
you, Kevin.
Yeah. Take care. Yeah. Bye for now.
See
you later.
Okay, bye-bye.
Well, that was a great stream. If you guys learned something about today's stream, please let us know. We love to hear the feedback, and we will have many more special and great guests just like Kevin in the near future. So stay tuned in as we progress through these live podcasts and streams, and please don't forget to send us your Instagram reels or videos of you out in the work field. Please send them to us so we can play them during our 10 minutes warm-up. So we hope everybody has an epic night, and we will catch you guys tomorrow.
Hello there, Ben here with Epic Exterior Services, president and co-founder of Service Six Sigma. We want to thank you for joining our live stream today. We appreciate any feedback is welcome. Please comment on our future posts and live streams. We always love to see the engagement in our live streams. Always ask questions, always post your comments, and reshare this video with your friends, family, Facebook, social media. Share it everywhere as much as possible. We would highly appreciate it. And if you know of a guest that would be great for our live stream, please pass them our way. You can visit our website, service6sigma.com, and there is a guest contact form that way, and we will interview that guest to make sure they are a good fit for our live stream. Again, thanks again for joining our live stream at 7 o'clock p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and we will see you next time.